Hi, I'm Ben Wojdyla, and this is Saturday Mechanic, and I'm about to answer another one of the questions that you sent in. How you doing? I'm Ben, and this guy over here is Russ.
Hi, how you doing?
Hi, how are you?
What's your name, first of all?
Craig, I'm from Suffern, New York.
Suffering, New York?
Suffering, New York?
Those poor people.
It's probably far away from Happy Valley. Okay, anyhow.
So yes,
What's your
pleasantries aside, what's your question? What's your question today?
The question is, I have a Mazda 5, and the engine light intermittently is on and off. I had a mechanic check it, and they told me that it had something to do with an air sensor. But if it had to do with an air sensor, wouldn't the light remain off?
Is it flashing?
It doesn't flash. It stays on for a few hours at a time. It'll go off for a couple of hours at a time.
Okay. What year?
Yeah.
My guess is
Year and miles. First of all.
year miles.
It's a 2006 with about 140,000 miles on it.
I like the Mazda 5. I really.
I wish it sold better.
Yes, it's a very nice car. When we say air sensor, that's a little difficult as a technician. Codes work for us, but I'm assuming he's saying the mass airflow sensor. And the mass airflow sensor senses the amount of air that goes in there. We know the temperature, they can calculate the density of the, how much air is actually going in there. And it's very easy for the program in the computer to then spray the fuel injectors the exact amount to get them a stoichiometric air-fuel ratio. And that's a fancy way of saying the air-fuel ratio that gives us the most complete combustion.
Without causing knock.
Well.
Yeah. Anyway, so have you noticed any faults with the car? Any bad behaviors? Do you know any codes that the engine might be throwing off?
Does it stumble?
No, it hasn't stumbled. It doesn't really hesitate. They did put a computer onto the engine block, I guess, to check the codes. I don't really know what the code numbers were.
Okay.
But right away it came back and said it had something to do with this air sensor.
Most likely cause is that it's contaminated. The sensing element is normally we have a hot wire and we have a thermistor or a electronic thermometer that's very near that. And the wire, they try to maintain that wire at a certain temperature. Let's say 100 degrees Celsius above ambient air.
Mm-hmm. And as they pull more air across it.
And just as you blow on your spaghetti noodles to cool them off, that wire cools off. And so it's programmed to put more current to the wire to heat it up, like an element on a toaster, the heat element on a toaster. And so the more blow over it, the more air that goes in there, the more current it needs to maintain 100 degrees above ambient air temperature.
And this is the one way that the engine knows how much air it's getting.
It's very precise, and it's directly proportional to the amount of air that's going in there. Okay?
So at this point, is it affecting my gas mileage, and I should have the sensor changed?
I'm not very well versed in the drivability issues of the Mazda 5. I really like the vehicle. I was able to drive one that they had put a Mazda 3 Speed 3 suspension and engine in it, and I tell you what, Mazda Speed 5 would have been a nice little car. Okay. However, back to your question, because of the mileage, you'll get little fuzzies on there. Maybe some of the air filter element has come off, and it touches that wire. If that wire now becomes insulated, okay, then it doesn't function as well.
Right. It's basically like putting a little blanket around this wire, so if you blow across it, it doesn't cool off as fast. So now the engine is getting conflicting signals.
Now, your check engine light comes on when the car is polluting. Now, that means not that there's big chunks of coal coming out the tailpipe. It also means if the car's not functioning as it was designed to function when it was new. So now if we have any one of our sensors that are somehow the signal is damaged, the signal is corrupted in some way, then it's not running as it was designed to run. So periodically, yours will go outside the parameters of what it was designed to see. And it would be Just like you walking your dog down the sidewalk, every once in a while you get off the sidewalk and a buzzer goes off, okay? As long as you're walking down the sidewalk, everything's fine. You go across off the sidewalk twice and that'll turn the light on, okay?
And now-
and then after 40 warm-up cycles, on its own, it'll go out because it didn't step outside the boundaries, okay?
So now, cleaning this element, if that's indeed what the problem is a fairly delicate process. So the last thing you want to do is break it.
Oh, break it,
Yeah,
yeah.
you don't want to break it.
Oh, no, then you buy a new one.
Brand new one, right?
Yeah.
So you want to, I've done it with brake cleaner.
They do sell a product.
It's specifically for it, so yeah.
In fact, the smartest emissions guy I know, he uses, get this, a tie wrap. He uses the serrated edge of the tie wrap and gently rubs it along there.
Okay.
And,
Interesting.
But they do sell a cleaner, and it's called intake cleaner or
Now, is this
mass
the
air.
one that you just spray in
Yep.
as the engine's running?
Not even while it's running. You can just open that up. It'll be right near the air filter. It'll be in the
Intake
tube that
tube,
goes
yeah.
from the air filter to the throttle body, to the intake manifold. And it'll have usually 5 wires connected to it. And if you just take off one of those, look inside, you'll see a little hole. You'll see
About that big, yeah.
a thing dangling down. Spray in there and see what happens. Okay.
Oh, great.
If you want to reply to Ben and you have those exact code numbers, we could be right on it.
Yeah, that'll
Okay.
tell us exactly where we're going with this problem.
But
So,
with what little information you supplied to us,
woefully little.
and that the moon is in a correct phase tonight, and then that Ben and I just kind of like your face. We thought that we would give you something that would, look at the joy. Look at the joy in your face right now.
As long as I don't have to buy a new sensor, this is great advice.
Yeah.
It gives you an opportunity to go down to the parts store and rub elbows with all the other grease monkeys down there and say, hey, give me a can of that mass airflow cleaner stuff, you know, the good stuff.
And if you come out there with some extra parts, that's
Yeah?
that's between you
Probably.
and me and the.
Well,
yeah.
you know, me, if there's a flashlight, I've always buy every flashlight and pocket knife that's on the counter. I can't leave a store without flashlights and pocket knives. I don't know why, okay? But that's always good. What?
Compulsion.
It's an obsessive compulsion, I think is what it is. It's a disease. But anyhow, give that a try. And you might even search the forums, the Mazda 5 forums, and see if that's out there.
But
Okay, great.
that's as good as we got for today. I hope that helps.
That's great. Thank you very much.
Thank you for calling in.
Next time, I want the year, I want the color, I want stuff, okay?
I'll have more detailed information next time.
Thank you.
All right, take
Thanks
care.
for calling.